Welcome to It's the Groove, the podcast that takes you under the wrapper to uncover the hidden connections in the music that we love. Hi, I'm your co-host, Dave, and I'm joined as always by my partner in pod, Kelly. Kelly, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you feeling today?
Good. I'm excited because today we're going to talk about one of our favorite groups and artists. We're actually going to talk about Chaka Khan, known as the Queen of Funk. And Chaka was the lead singer of the band Rufus. She's also had a highly successful solo career and has collaborated with artists such as Miles Davis, Robert Palmer, the band Chicago, Quincy Jones, Incognito, Joni Mitchell, Mary J. Blige, and Sia. As we uncovered her career and all her accomplishments in typical ITG fashion, we decided to use 2 episodes. So today we're going to focus on her work with the funk band Rufus, which occurred in the early stage of her career. Kelly, why don't you tell us a little bit about Rufus?
The genesis of Rufus was a band called The American Breed, a Chicago-born group that had a top 10 hit with the classic rock single, Bend Me, Shape Me. Let's listen to a section of this song. The band later became known as Ask Rufus, the name coming from an advice column in a magazine, Mechanics Illustrated. The band featured lead vocalist Paulette McWilliams, who later befriended Chaka Khan. The band went through a number of personnel changes. McWilliams would leave the band, but not before introducing them to her replacement, Chaka Khan. Ask Rufus would be shortened to Rufus, and they were signed to a recording deal. Their debut release wasn't successful. The band added Bobby Watson on bass and Tony Maiden on guitar and developed a more funk groove. The second album was entitled Rags to Rufus and would launch the group to stardom with a little help from another musician. Rufus gained fame with the Stevie Wonder penned Tell Me Something Good, which peaked at number 3 on Billboard Hot 100. Tell Me Something Good is a song included in the 1974 album Rags to Rufus. Chaka's vocals became the focus of the group, leading to the name change to Rufus, featuring Chaka Khan for the next album. Rolling Stone praised Khan's tough, sexy vocals, while AllMusic noted it was a song Stevie Wonder could have recorded himself. The song was the earliest to feature the talk box guitar effect by Tony Maiden. I can really see Stevie recording this song. I wonder why he didn't do it himself.
You know, there's a little urban legend about that, but we can talk about that later. But, you know, the interesting thing was I remember that song vividly and the talk box, and we're like, what the heck is that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So interesting sounds.
Yes.
Let's listen to Tell Me Something Good. Okay, the second single from Rags to Rufus was You Got the Love, written by Ray Parker Jr. and Chaka Khan. This song would hit number 1 on the Hot Soul Singles and number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100. Now, you got to remember the name Ray Parker Jr. We've mentioned his name a couple of times, and you know that could mean a future It's the Groove podcast edition all about that artist. But it's interesting to me that this Rags to Rufus album, which really launched the career of Rufus, was heavily helped by both Stevie Wonder and Ray Parker Jr. And little known fact, they worked together. Ray Parker Jr. was actually the guitar player on Stevie Wonder's band Wonderlove. So it was interesting that they kind of cross-pollinated here with Rufus. So let's listen to You Got the Love.
Right. What's the matter with you? Hold me tight. Why must I tell you what to do? Smiling, smiling comes as no surprise. Smiling, hiding what I see in your eyes. The story goes on much deeper than the eye can see. Yes, I do. Stop running the game. I can tell you're a more than me. I wouldn't pay just to hear say.
The next Rufus album would be Rufusized. I just love this. The lead single from this album was Once You Get Started. This song features Chaka's incredible vocals and is notable for including the Tower of Power horn section. The song would hit number 10 on the Hot 100, the band's second top 10 song, and help Rufus achieve platinum status. One of the things that always appealed to me about this song was just those wailing horns. And I didn't realize until fairly recently that that was the Tower of Power horn section. But the wailing horns, along with Chaka's wailing voice, combined to make Once You Get Started a real hot number. Let's take a listen to Once You Get Started.
Once you get started, oh, it's hard to stop. love the way you do it, the way you do it. Like the way you move, yeah. It's the new thing when you know that you're getting on down, yeah. Everybody, come on, y'all, and get down with me. Yeah, yeah, you can do it like you never done before. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, Kelly, what's next?
Next is Sweet Thing. It's from Rufus featuring Chaka Khan. The album was released in 1975. This song was co-written by Chaka Khan and Tony Maton. Tony Maton joined the group in 1974. He played a bigger role in songwriting for this album. The song Sweet Thing reached #1 on the R&B chart. By this time, Shaka's star power was eclipsing the band, with solo magazine covers and being the focus of the album artwork. Her vocal style set the tone for the band. She became the face of the group in media and in interviews. There were growing tensions in the band between Chaka Khan and bandmate Andres Fisher. Despite the tensions in the band, this album was a success. It went gold and later platinum, with over 100 million copies sold. This was the first Rufus album to top the R&B charts, and it was named Best Charting R&B Album in 1976 by Billboard. It further established Chaka Khan as the leading voice in R&B and funk. It featured hit singles Sweet Thing, Dance With Me, and Jive Talkin', which was a cover of the Bee Gees song. Sweet Thing has been covered by Mary J. Blige in 1993 and Boney James in 1997, proving its lasting impact. Let's listen to Sweet Thing.
You are my heat, you are my fire. You make me weak with strong desire to love and shine my whole life long. Be it right or be it wrong, I just want to say, just by you though you're not mine, I can't deny you. Don't you hear me talking, baby? Love me now. You're the heat, all the fire. You're not mine, can't deny it. Don't you hear me talking, baby? Love me now. I'm a crazy. You're the heat, all the fire. You're not mine, can't deny it. Don't you hear me talking, baby? Love me now. I'm a crazy. You're the heat, all the fire. You're not mine, can't deny it. Don't you hear me talking, baby? Love me now. I'm a crazy.
Okay. We're next going to talk about Hollywood. Hollywood is one of those songs that I really loved as a little girl. It was written by Andre Fisher and David Hawk Walensky. And when we were researching this, I was surprised that Dave didn't really know this song. It's from Platinum Certified album Ask Rufus. The album featured a more sophisticated jazz influence sound. The song Hollywood reached #3 on the R&B chart and #32 on the pop chart. The song is about a Hollywood hopeful who compares the emptiness of their old life to the fake fulfillment that Hollywood offers. Even as a little girl, I loved the lyrics to the song, and it made it seem like Hollywood is a really hard place to make it. The lyrics that I loved were painted faces, sunburnt skin, fixed expressions, smiles worn thin, caught in the blink of neon of Hollywood. Bending battles, maneuvering schemes, false expressions, washed up dreams. Everyone makes believe in Hollywood. By 1977, Rufus and Chaka Khan were drifting apart. The recording sessions for Ask Rufus were filled with tension, particularly between Chaka Khan and Andre Fisher. Khan's marriage to Richard Holland caused friction within the band, especially with Fisher. A heated altercation between Fisher and Holland during a recording session led to a fight in the bathroom. Upon hearing the fight, Chaka intervened and reportedly fought Fisher, requiring the bandmates to pull her away. Due to these internal struggles, Ask Rufus took longer to record than previous albums. This would be the last Rufus album to feature Andre Fisher, who had been with the band for 5 years. Despite the turmoil, Ask Rufus was a hit, keeping the band's momentum strong heading into late 1970s. Ask Rufus spent 3 weeks at number 1 on the R&B chart and later ranked 499 on Rolling Stone's 500 greatest albums of all time. Erykah Badu covered Hollywood for the Spike Lee film Bamboozled. Let's listen to Hollywood.
What you doing? Show him the ways. Moving to Hollywood. He's hopping into Hollywood. You know he's gonna be dressed to kill. He's gonna find some brand new thrills. Whatever he's been looking for, tell him that there's so much more in Hollywood. He's on his way, he's going to Hollywood, he's busting into Hollywood. What you doing? Show him the way. He's moving to Hollywood, he's hopping into Hollywood. Painted faces, sunburned skin, fixed expressions, smiles worn thin, caught in the blinking neons of Hollywood. Bending battles, maneuvering schemes, false expressions, washed up dreams. Everybody makes believe in Hollywood.
Okay.
You know, Kelly,
What's
I know
up?
what my confusion was. I I listened to Hollywood, and for whatever reason, it had a different sound to it. You know, it didn't sound like some of the other Rufus songs, and I remember hearing that song and liking it, but not associating with Rufus. I don't know who
Not
I thought
really
did
that
it, but I
funky.
thought it was
It didn't
yeah,
have the
yeah.
funk that you're used to hearing. Yeah.
Right. And I liked the song, but I did not associate it with Rufus. So anyway, going into the late 70s, the band would release the album Street Player with Chaka. And then as Chaka began her solo career, Rufus did an album without her called Numbers. Numbers would reach number 15 on the R&B charts, but finish a disappointing 81 on the pop charts. And Numbers was also the debut of drummer J.R. Robinson. We'll hear a lot more about J.R. Robinson as we continue our It's the Groove podcast series. The next joint venture between Chaka and Rufus was the album Master Jam, produced by Quincy Jones. And we've done some programs on Quincy in 2024, And you may recall, in typical Q fashion, he would bring in an all-star cast of backing musicians, including the Brothers Johnson and a wind group or a horn group called the Sea Wind Horns. Um, these are heard to great effect on the sound Heaven Bound, which is my favorite track off of Master Jam. And interestingly enough, we just got done releasing a podcast episode of songs that should have been singles. And I wanted to include this, but I knew we were doing this episode following it, so I left it off my list. But if I had to have an aggregate list of songs that I think should have been released as singles, Heaven Bound would absolutely be on that list. This song is quintessential Quincy, with a slick groove provided by J.R. Robinson, some incredible dynamics from the horn section, and of course, Chaka's incredible vocals. I'm going to play a part of this song, which is kind of the bridge, where you see the horns counterplay with Chaka's voice to great effect. So I think it's a great use of both the horns and Chaka's wailing vocals, in this song. So let's take a listen to Heaven Bound. Okay, Kelly, I think you've got another one from Master Jam. What's next?
Do You Love What You Feel? It was
Most
produced
of
by
the time I do. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Produced by Quincy Jones, Chaka had previously worked with Quincy on sounds and stuff like that. The band was starting to record tracks without Chaka because she was contemplating a solo career. This was the first album on MCA Records. MCA had absorbed ABC Records. Dave Hawk Walensky, the song's writer, contributed major hits for Rufus, including Hollywood and Ain't Nobody. Walensky has worked with numerous other artists as a musician, songwriter, and producer, including the Bee Gees, Glenn Frey, Michael Jackson, Jeffrey Osborne, Stephanie Mills, and Minnie Riperton. This song topped the R&B charts for 3 weeks and was a top 5 disco hit. Features contributions from the Sea Wind Horns and the Brothers Johnson on percussion. Sea Wind was an American jazz fusion band from Hawaii. They blended jazz, funk, R&B, and pop elements. The Sea Wind Horns is a key part of the band's signature sound. Members, trumpeter Jerry Hay, saxophonist and flutist Kim Hutchcroft, and saxophonist and flutist Larry Williams. They became sought after musicians and arrangers, and I didn't know much about them until we started researching for this podcast. They have worked with Earth, Wind, and Fire, George Benson, Michael Jackson, Quincy Jones, of course, and their horn arrangements shaped some of the biggest albums in music history. Let's listen to Do You Love What You Feel?
Gee,
Okay, Dave.
Kelly, it kind of sounds like.
What? Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No. Say what you're going to say.
Gee, Kelly, it kind of sounds like we might have to do an upcoming podcast episode on the Sea Wind Horns.
I knew you were going to say that.
I've been familiar with them for a while, and you're right. They are one of the hidden connections in the music we love because they have performed. Yep, they have performed with so many other artists that we love.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, after the Master Jam album, Rufus and Chaka Khan were going their separate ways. Chaka would release her next solo album, Naughty, and look for some material off of that in our next episode, while Rufus released Party Till You're Broke. They would reunite for one more combined effort, Camouflage, before their final effort together, a combined live and studio album called Stompin' at the Savoy. This was a double album with the first three sides featuring live recordings of their hit songs performed at the Savoy in New York. The fourth side included new material, including Ain't Nobody. This would become Rufus's final number one hit. Written by keyboardist David Hawk Walensky, this song won the Grammy for Best R&B Performance by a Duo or Group. It beat out It's the Groove favorites, Shalimar with Dead Giveaway, Earth, Wind, and Fire, DeBarge, and the Weather Girls with It's Raining Men. Do you remember that one, Kelly?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so the band held a democratic vote and they decided to include the song in the album repertoire. Once the song was recorded, Warner executives wanted to issue another song as the album's first single. Walensky threatened to give Ain't Nobody to singer Michael Jackson and producer Quincy Jones for Jackson's album Thriller if Ain't Nobody was not the lead single. So the label relented and Ain't Nobody was issued and hit number one on the R&B chart for the week ending October 15th, 1983. Let's take a listen to Ain't Nobody.
Nobody
Well, Kelly,
Yeah.
what do you think about Rufus?
Well, first of all, I really could see Michael Jackson singing Ain't Nobody. He would have tore that up. That would have been great, I think. Anyway, you asked me
Oh, I
about
know.
what I
And yeah, I think Aquilinsky, I think you may have mentioned this, but I'm pretty sure that he worked with Quincy and Michael. I don't remember on which songs,
Mhm.
but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that he was involved with Thriller.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, what I think of Rufus, I think they were a great band. They blended funk and soul and jazz and created an influential sound that shaped the future of R&B and hip hop artists. Their songs have been sampled and covered by multiple artists, proving their lasting impact. Though Chaka Khan eventually went solo, Rufus remains one of the defining funk bands of the 1970s.
Very well said, Kelly. And, despite all the great songs, Shaka Khan got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but Rufus isn't in. And we consider that a travesty. So, anyway, stay tuned for the next episode when we cover Shaka Khan's solo career and some of her wonderful collaborations with other artists that you know. As always, thanks for listening. Please make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and give us your feedback. Tell us what you like and what you'd like to hear more of. And as always, remember, it's not the beat, it's the groove. Thanks for listening.
Bye.